Okay, brothers, sisters, comrades and friends, welcome to Bat Country. This is just a short video outside of my normal schedule, just to get something off my chest, just so I can stop thinking about it for a while. So I watched a video first thing this morning from a YouTube channel called Sober Start, a channel that I've kind of been circling myself since it began. And I felt like, I wanted to say something for ages and resisted. But the video that was posted last night, I just feel like I need to at least say what's on my mind about it. So that's what this is. It's going to be quick, don't worry. But I do have an important point to make about halfway through. So if you don't know the channel Sober Start, you don't really need to, not for the sake of this video. If you don't know it already, then just don't worry about this video. Skip over. There's another one coming in a couple of days. But to recap, Sober Start is a YouTube channel started in February of 2025 to kind of chart the recovery of the channel's owner, Rick. And Rick is a pretty normal guy experiencing pretty normal alcoholic things. He's a pretty normal alcoholic. A divorce, a house under threat, joblessness, depression, anxiety, that kind of thing. Normal alcoholism stuff. But very early on, Rick somehow developed just the worst and most toxic audience I've ever seen. Not just in sobriety and alcoholism YouTube, maybe in all YouTube. And this channel, in one form or another, has existed since 2006. I've been around a while. Rick has become the kind of Anita Sarkeesian of sobriety. and his comments section is just an absolute train wreck. One of the worst I've ever seen. His journey to sobriety has so far been unsuccessful, kind of characterized by backslides and relapses and continued drinking, despite his best intentions. And unfortunately for Rick, and for all of us who do this, it makes for very compelling content. Rick's struggles are compelling. It is compelling to watch a person struggle. There's nothing new. And despite his 7,500 subscribers, his videos regularly get far more views than that, and far more comments than that number would suggest. Which indicates to me that there are a lot of people watching his content kind of habitually who are not subscribed, but are kind of circling above and treating it a little bit like the worst kind of reality TV, is watching him repeatedly fail. And those comments that he gets are kind of slightly amazing to behold. 10% or so are from long-term sober people offering genuinely useful advice and instruction and guidance. And then 40% are kind of, not to be mean myself, but like well-meaning idiots who suggest that he goes for a lovely walk, and that kind of thing. And then the rest, like the other half, the other 50%, are actively trying to make him fail. Like saying unbelievably mean things and encouraging him to drink, or suggesting that he go and open a ladyboy bar in Thailand, and bizarre, stupid, unhelpful stuff like that. Like real old school trolls. And Rick has indicated in the past that he thinks it might be slightly organized and that people are using sock puppet accounts. And when he first said it, I was like, don't be stupid. No one cares enough about what we do to do that. But the longer it goes on, the more I think he might be right. I think there is a handful of very bad actors in his comments, and then another bigger group of just mean people. And I'm starting to catch strays from it too. I've noticed some of the names in his comments starting to appear in mine. And I'm not like Rick. I won't tolerate that kind of thing in my own comments. I don't tolerate unnecessary meanness in my comments, or I don't even tolerate just kind of stupidity or ignorance, bad advice. That can all go. I'll delete it all. I won't hesitate. But there is one thing, like if you are kind of deliberately mean to me, what I tend to do is I'll invite you into an argument and drag it out for as long as I can until I'm satisfied that I've wasted an hour of your time writing replies to me, and then I'll just delete the whole lot just to piss you off. So what I mean is that I deliberately and consciously curate my audience. I prune off anyone who I think is a negative influence. They can go, they'll never see the channel again. And that has led to me having a very healthy kind of comment section, I think, certainly by comparison to Rick's. But it raises the question, why does Rick invite and then tolerate the negativity, the hatred and the trolls in his comments? Well, the answer to that, I think, is more important than it might seem. I don't think it is for engagement. I don't think it's to feed the YouTube algorithm or for ad revenue, as others have suggested. I think there is a clue to Rick's sobriety, or at least to Rick's drinking, in that fact. Well, that fact is why I'm talking about, and partially to, Rick today. Because I think understanding why Rick has attracted that audience and why he tolerates it might be useful for him to know why that has happened and why it continues to happen. And I've never seen anyone in his comments point this out before. So I guess it falls to me to say the difficult thing. In my view, Rick is deliberately inviting that kind of criticism. He's baiting it. He doesn't know that he's doing it deliberately, but he is. And you can tell through the nature of the content that he posts where he's stripping off and he's being deliberately self-critical. And from the thumbnails that he chooses and from the clickbaity kind of titles that he picks. He is baiting criticism, insult. And he's doing that because he feels like he deserves to be punished. He doesn't know that he feels like that. But that's what it is. He feels like that. He feels like he deserves to be punished. And that's why everything is the way that it is with Sober Start. That's why he bends over backwards for his ex. And that's why he won't seek professional help, won't go to rehab, won't go to AA. Because right now, prostrating himself in front of the world, as humiliatingly as he's doing, and begging for flagellation, that's what he wants. He doesn't know that he wants it, but that's what he wants. And that desire is not unique to Rick. That is quite common to alcoholics. And I speak from first-hand experience here. I wanted that too. That's why he has attracted that audience and why he tolerates it, and why he invites insults and invites criticism. And he releases videos that he knows will piss people off and frustrate people. It's because he wants to be made to feel bad. And that is normal alcoholic stuff. And Rick doesn't yet have the tools to be able to process such a weird and complex emotion very healthily, not in a healthy way. So this is how it's pouring out. And that's why he's so resistant to getting sober. That's why he's still drinking, is because if he gets sober, there's no longer a need for him to be punished. That's the fear. That's Rick's hurdle. What Rick is doing on that channel is a very public form of self-hatred. And a lot of alcoholics in my audience will probably say that that is a familiar feeling, right? And that's what it is. It's other stuff too, but that's it. That's what's going on. Because I did it too, and I also had that desire to be punished. Like emotionally punished. So I'm going to speak directly to Rick now. Everyone else just like cover your ears or go make a coffee or something. Hi Rick. Bad Country here. Alcoholic to alcoholic. I will always be on your side. And I will always support you. But my God, you make it fucking hard sometimes. Now, I said all of that stuff that I just said, not to be hurtful, not to attack, but I think it's useful for someone like you to have some awareness that that is what your behavior is. The desire to be punished. That's why you continue to drink, and that's why your YouTube channel is the way that it is. A kind of public humiliation, which you think you deserve. And the urge that you have towards drink is not just an urge towards the alcohol itself, it's also an urge towards repentance or penance, punishment, flagellation. And a lot of the work in sobriety that we do is trying to figure out why we were drinking in the first place, what was causing the self-destructive behavior, what was driving us back to the bottle every time. And once you figure that out, then you stand a much better chance of turning the corner on your drinking. And since so far you seem to be reluctant to seek actual professional help, I'm going to share some of mine with you for free. So let me give you a leg up, potentially, if my intuition about this is correct, and see if this feels true for you. So my first ever good therapist, he was also a sober guy. He had like 20 years of sobriety. Just by I didn't know that when I hired him. That emerged in the first session. And this is the information that I'm going to give to you for free, which was priceless for me. In like the first or second session, I asked him outright, like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep destroying myself? Why do I keep blowing my life up and letting people down? Why can't I just allow myself to be happy? And he said, without even a pause, he said, because you don't think you are worthy of love. You don't think you deserve to be loved. And therefore, you invite punishment and you tear yourself down. That's where I think you're at, Rick. Is that I don't think, with all of the shitty stuff that you might have done in the recent past, I think that you might feel like you don't deserve to be forgiven. And when I was told that about my own shitty behavior and my own alcoholism, it really helped me understand it. And things didn't get better immediately. It took a long time for me to feel like I had worth, to feel like I was maybe worthy of love again. Even after all the shitty things that I did. It takes a long time to get there. But just knowing that was the reason, and it feeling so profoundly true to me, being told that when I was exactly where you are now, was incredibly helpful to my sobriety. I hope it is for yours too. Good luck out there.